Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. The shorters are out in full force now. They love to hit Tesla when it's down. So let's review a recent article from CNN about the new Ford Mach-E.
People can come up with statistics to prove anything. 40% of all people know that.
Ford's Mustang Mach-E is eating into Tesla's US sales. First impression, it sounds like Ford's Mach-E is better than Tesla's cars. So much so that Tesla are losing sales to Ford. At least, that is what they want you to infer. Tesla is starting to lose market share among US buyers of electric vehicles, and Ford's Mustang Mach-E appears to be the beneficiary. They're trying to make it look like Tesla are losing as much market share as possible, starting from a cherry-picked month with cherry-picked data, using 69% to 81%, which almost makes you feel like it's a 20% drop, when actually it's barely a 10% change. Tesla haven't even given any official sales for February in the US, as far as I can tell either. But even if that is the case, okay, perhaps Tesla have genuinely lost some market share. But so what? Also, they're comparing this statistic from February last year, which is an arbitrary cherry-picked date, implying that Ford have taken more market share than they actually have, when in fact it also includes all the other EVs that have been launched over the last year too, and the Ford has only been on sale since January. So why are they using the numbers from over a year ago? Tesla's US sales are still climbing, according to this analysis, due to the increased appetite among US car buyers for electric vehicles. Morgan Stanley estimates that industry-wide, US EV sales rose 34% in February compared to a year earlier, even as sales of traditional internal combustion engine vehicles fell by 5.4%, according to the analysis. So the article then goes on to admit that Tesla sales are still climbing, and, as we always hear, Tesla sells every car. Okay, so if Tesla sales are actually up, then how can Ford be taking away from Tesla sales, as what the article implied? Well, they're referring to market share, so this is very deceptive. Let's run an example with some easy numbers. These numbers are not the real numbers, but make it easy to understand what has happened. Let's say that previously Tesla sold 80,000 cars a month, and there are another 20,000 EVs sold from other manufacturers. But now, Ford have also entered the EV industry with another 5,000 EVs sold, and over the same time period, another 15,000 EVs have entered the market too, and now there are 120,000 EVs sold a month. Tesla previously had an 80% market share, but now they only have a 66% market share. Ford has come in and taken some of Tesla's market share, but not by people buying Fords instead of Tesla, by people buying EV Fords in addition to Teslas. So, of course, Tesla's market share will suffer the most, as they had the largest market share. It's also deceptive to make everyone think that Ford solely has taken Tesla down from 81% to 69%, when it's actually been other EV manufacturers that have done the majority of that. Tesla reports only global quarterly sales, not monthly or US sales, as do many other automakers. Tesla likely enjoyed a 5.4% gain in US in February, according to Morgan Stanley's analysis. And, like I said, they don't even have any real figures on Tesla's sales, so they have manipulated it the way they want. The new electric offerings from traditional automakers resulted in their combined US EV sales more than doubling to 9,527 vehicles, and Ford's Mach-E, which won SUV of the Year honours this year and started deliveries in late January, accounted for 3,739 February sales, according to figures from Ford. It goes on to give as much kudos to Ford as possible, saying that it won the SUV of the Year award. If you want to know which car is better, then watch YouTube videos of owners of a Model Y and videos of real owners of a Mustang Mach-E and make your own independent mind up. Don't bother watching car reviews. If they give bad, honest reviews, then the manufacturers will simply stop sending them cars to review. And we're talking about 3,739 sales. Do you have any idea how small amount that is? Seriously. And Elon tells us scaling up EV production is the hardest part of EVs. Even NIO is only at around 5,000 a month. Scaling up to large capacities is unlikely something they can achieve, let alone doing it at a profit, and finding enough batteries in the process. Some of you may recall Tesla's production hell, where Elon slept on a couch in the factory to make sure he got it right. Can you imagine any other CEO doing that? Or even having a clue on how EVs are made in the first place? No, they simply won't be able to scale. Mach-E accounted for nearly 100% of the share loss, said Adam Jonas, Morgan Stanley's auto analyst, in a note earlier this week. Nearly 100%? Well, 90% is nearly. So is 80. You can say anything when you use such loose terms as nearly. Either way, it's irrelevant, and only due to the fact that Tesla simply can't make enough vehicles. Other experts said they also believe that Tesla is losing some of its share of the EV market. "We've been expecting this for a while," said Michelle Krebs, senior analyst of Auto Trader. "Tesla was the only game in town. Now it's not. We expect that Tesla sales will increase as the market increases, but they will also be stealing off Tesla's market share." So what? Tesla's sales are still increasing. Yes, some competition are trying to come in and are still more expensive than Tesla's car prices, and they are almost definitely losing money on every car they sell, i.e. a negative profit margin, compared to Tesla's at around 30%. You see, Ford are only selling about 3,500 cars a month. Due to such low numbers, they can afford to make a loss on every car, just to try and be competitive with Tesla's pricing. I mean, they're using a 68 kilowatt hour battery for their standard range to get the same performance that Tesla get with a 60 kilowatt hour battery in their standard Model Y, and Ford use an 88 kilowatt battery in their extended range compared to Tesla's 75 kilowatt battery for their long range. That's a significant extra cost, and the fact Ford won't make any money on servicing and parts too, and they got to leave a commission for dealers as well. And they call it stealing market share. Well, that's just totally inaccurate. Stealing would imply that people are buying Fords instead of Tesla. Ford are just expanding the market size, not stealing Tesla's sales. A spokesman for Ford would not comment directly on Morgan Stanley's analysis. The company did say that 70% of the Mach-E buyers were new to Ford, making the car that much more valuable to the automaker. More than 20% of Mach-E sales came in California, where Tesla is particularly popular. No need to comment on manipulated statistics when they're in your favour. So 70% of the sales were new to Ford, implying that 30% have taken from sales from Ford's other products that actually make profit. The remainder likely from other American ICE cars. But they leave it open for you to assume that these sales are coming from potential Tesla customers. And they came from California, where Tesla is more popular, and so are EVs in general. But they like to imply that it's taking away from Tesla's most profitable market. Put it this way, I doubt anyone traded in a Tesla to buy a Mach-E. Tesla is facing competition from automakers such as Porsche, BMW, Audi, and Jaguar for its luxury Model S sedan and Model X SUV, along with competition from Chevrolet, Hyundai, Kia, Volkswagen, Nissan, and now Ford for its lower-priced Model 3 sedan and Model Y SUV. Tesla are not facing any competition. None of these companies are affecting Tesla's sales. The only impact they can possibly have on Tesla's sales is consuming more battery supply that Tesla would have otherwise consumed. Whenever you compare the statistics and prices of these cars against Tesla, they fall so short, and added to the fact Tesla makes 30% margin and the others likely lose on every sale, it means Tesla are just that much further ahead again. I actually rang up Beverly Hills Porsche the other day. They still had old 2020 Taycans sitting on the lot. The salesman was willing to take $10,000 off the price just on the phone. I'm sure I could have haggled even more in person. Tesla never, ever negotiate on price. Tesla have already fallen behind Volkswagen, the world's number 2 automaker, in sales of electric vehicles in many European markets, including Norway, where EVs now make up the majority of new vehicle sales. Oh, and the Fudster's favourite fact, we can't have a Tesla article without them reminding us of this statistic. For a start, in Norway, they cherry-picked a time period where Tesla weren't shipping there. Also, it has come out that it's mainly been the Volkswagen dealers that are buying their pathetic EVs, what I call EV salesgate. Yes, Volkswagen are capable of despicable things that we witnessed with Dieselgate, so we don't need to believe anything Volkswagen tell us. Oh, and Tesla basically haven't started selling in Europe yet. They will later this year with their new Berlin factory, and they'll likely quickly consume 80% EV market share before the year is out. And it is facing new competition from General Motors, which just debuted a compact SUV version of its US EV, the Chevrolet Bolt. The Bolt EUV will go on sale by early summer, along with a new version of the current Bolt hatchback. Both will be priced below the Model 3 and the Model Y. And this is just the start of a wave of new EVs promised by traditional automakers in the years ahead. Volvo announced this week it will offer only electric vehicles by 2030, while Ford said it will sell only electric passenger cars in Europe by 2030. GM said it expects to sell only emission-free vehicles by 2035. The aggressive targets on electric vehicles are driven both by tougher environmental regulations around the world, as well as the growing appetite for EVs among buyers. So, aside from the fact Bolt being a seriously ugly car that likely handles like a pig, its new hatchback version starts at $37,495. This is actually a Model 2 competitor, and the Model 2 will cost $25,000. So this is just an embarrassment. And the Bolt EUV has a starting price of $43,495. So no idea why they're saying these are priced below the Model Y and 3. The Model Y starts at $41,190 for the standard version, not shown on the website. And the Model 3 starts at $36,990. So this is just not true. And then, when we have more and more cars launching EVs with specs that fall so short of Tesla's and likely make a loss on every sale for the car manufacturer, and they're in such small quantities because it's too hard to scale up EV production, they can't source batteries, and a lot of them are making them so they don't have to pay regulatory credits like Fiat Chrysler and Honda. But it's about quantity, not quality, that makes headlines. The more models that come out to compete with Tesla, the scarier the competition looks. And although EVs are now more expensive to build than comparable gasoline-powered engines, improvements in economies of scale will likely lower the cost of parts, including large batteries, making it less expensive and thus more profitable to build EVs. Electric vehicles have fewer moving parts and, according to an estimate from Ford, require 30% fewer hours of labour to assemble than the traditional cars. Except for Tesla, they can build EVs cheaper than ICE cars already. They've got their battery cost below the magic $100 kilowatt hour with the new 4680s, meaning ICE cars eventually can't even compete on manufacturing costs, let alone the much lower running costs of an EV. Oh, and look at the kind of ICE car you can buy for $25,000 compared to Tesla's Model 2. So Ford are implying that they will be able to get their costs down lower than their ICE cars eventually. So watch out, Tesla. But the fact they take less hours to assemble means they need more robots and technology. They assemble ICE cars, but make it sound like that is some knowledge set to assemble EVs too. Unfortunately for them, it is not. They would have just as much chance learning how to assemble semiconductors too. Do you think Ford could make better microchips than Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company? So why do you think they can make a better EV than Tesla? Anyway, let's run another scenario for mid-2022, where Tesla make $2 million a year from Austin and up to $1 million from Fremont. So $165,000 from Austin and $85,000 a month from Fremont, and $30,000 for the rest of all the other EVs, and that's being generous. That's a total of $280,000 a month, and Tesla would then have a market share of 90%. The ICE companies are doing whatever they can to keep up their stock price, to give the illusion they have a chance to compete against Tesla. And okay, I believe GM's Bolt might actually be making a profit, and it's a genuine article, but it's hardly a cool car, and the value offering compared to Tesla isn't close. So nothing to see here, although it has helped the shorts get the price down further. This is just revenge for the billions they already lost. It'll be alright in the end, just hang in there. Thanks for listening, please hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.